All right. Hello to Facebook. Hello to everyone. We are here live with the final Tribal Council of Premier All-Stars. We have our final three in Kyle, Tyler, and Molly, where each of them will pitch their case tonight, hoping to convince the jurors why they should be the sole survivor and crown the winner. The way that this will start is each of them will give an opening speech. We said approximately 6 minutes. Each juror will come on, have some time to say their piece, and then we will do quick closing speeches. Give the jurors a time frame to vote, and then reveal the winner later on this evening. I do want to say really quickly, thank you so much to everyone who has followed along this season as a host. This has been an incredible cast. They made it so much fun to watch, and I hope that everyone enjoyed viewing the season as much as we did. And so I believe without further ado, we can go ahead and start with our first speech. As the winner of the final immunity challenge, Tyler was allowed to choose the speech order. And I believe he wanted to go first.
I did, yes.
All right. Tyler, whenever you're ready, you may begin.
All right, great. Hello, everyone, members of the jury, production, everyone watching. I just want to start off by saying thank you so much to production for putting on such an amazing game. I can say that without a doubt, this has been one of the most strenuous, difficult, most rewarding games I've ever played, and that starts with production. I would also like to say thank you to the two that are sitting here with me tonight, Molly and Kyle. I think it's fair to say that none of us would be here without the help of the other two. However, it is time to crown a winner of Premier Survivor All-Stars, and I'd like to tell you why that winner should be me. Starting with the pre-merge, as cast reveal was happening, I knew that it was going to be a difficult cast for me. There was a lot of interconnections between pretty much everyone, and while I had some of my own, there were really none on my starting tribe, Mogo Mogo. I knew that I would be away that first weekend, which is such a pivotal time for establishing those early bonds, because I was playing an LRG, so that meant I had to hit the ground running, and that I did. Over the first night and the next day of the game, I spent time trying to get as close to people as I could, and two of those people that I became very close to were Lauren and Brad. And I also tried to repair relationships with Derek from our season 3 experience, which didn't end well for us there. Lauren and Brad were two that I felt closest to, Brad even going as far as saying that he was going to do as much as he could in that scavenger hunt, since he knew I wouldn't have a phone for the weekend. We managed to survive the scavenger hunt with me doing the least on my tribe, but not the least overall, despite only having an hour for myself to work on it. Upon surviving that scavenger hunt, it became very clear that I needed to find some footing in that tribe. This is where Stealth R Us was founded, and that was an alliance that I really thought would suit me well, because it wasn't relying at all on my prior connections, and instead it was brand new within this game. Everything was smooth sailing as Cyrus got voted out. It seemed like OG Mogo Mogo was rolling. I was sent to Exile Island with Julia and Dylan, where I received a clue to an idol search, which I didn't succeed in. Once the dissolve happened, Dylan told me Molly had gotten that idol. I was surprised, but relieved that he trusted me enough to share such important information. Then the blind side of Bill happened, where my alliance left me in the dark. At the Schoolyard Pig, we had to rank our tribe, and my tribe ranked me 8th out of 8 people, confirming my suspicions that I was indeed on the bottom, behind 2 people that hadn't been on our original tribe. On Saboga, after the Schoolyard Pick, I went to Shay, I went to Chris, I went to Julia, and I helped bring Kyle in as well to form the Matt Williamson Hate Club, which became a key alliance for me throughout the merge. The rankings confirmed what I already knew, and flipping to this side made the most sense. At that point, Katie was the easiest to target, as Lauren and I had connected much better before that, despite her not ranking me as highly as I ranked her. Moving into the merge, rather than going round by round, I'm just going to look at some things I did right. I think the flashiest move of the game happened at Final 8, when Julia gave me her steal a vote, which she, Kyle, and I had passed around for 2 rounds prior, because we knew that Dylan had the knowledge is power, which I helped him get, and he was clearly on the other side. No one knew that I had the steal a vote going into that tribal besides Julia and I. This led to the knowledge is power being wasted. I then leveraged at that same time, I was leveraging my social connections with Molly, planting seeds that there was a split between her and Robert, in an effort to make sure that if she played that idol, it would be on herself. I knew about Robert's extra vote from Shay, but told no one, literally no one. And I knew that so I was the only one who knew that we needed our numbers to be as strong as it was. This was the flashy move of my season. However, my social game allowed me to fly relatively under the radar and only get my name written down by someone else one time on the Derek vote. A highlight of my social game were my connections to people such as Lauren, Brad, and Molly, who, while we didn't always vote together, it allowed me to know the information from all angles. I used these social relationships to have a plethora of people that would not write my name down, and this kept my threat level relatively low. I think I played a pretty clean game, one in which I was honest with pretty much everyone unless I couldn't be honest with them at that juncture. At Final 9, I thought Brad, who I promised I'd repay for saving me the first weekend, was self-voting. So I thought the numbers had switched to him at the last second because no one knew what he was doing. To keep my word, I did not want to vote him. In an attempt to keep everyone on my perceived side with me, my options were myself, Robert, or Molly. I couldn't vote Robert because I wanted the option of selling that I pushed the vote off of him. And I didn't want to write Molly's name down because I was worried it would drive her to not work with me, which obviously worked out in the end. Thus, I self-voted at Final 9. This could be seen as a cop-out, but I think it was truly the best move for me strategically. As I've said at multiple tribal councils this season, there is no blueprint on how to guarantee a win in Survivor. There's no perfect way to play this game. That said, I definitely made some mistakes, and I persevered through them. I did not do a good enough job at trying to connect with people like Derek or Cam. I overtrusted Bill, thinking he would be someone that would want to work with me just from our Season 3 connection. So I slipped to him about Molly's idol. However, I was still able to recover from this and use my social prowess to still get Molly, despite me outing her idol, to still trust me, even after she knew I messed up. Another thing I did wrong is I didn't take a shot at Julia earlier in the game. I knew everyone would assume that Julia and I were just playing together blindly, which was not the case. The game pushed us in that direction. I think if I would have been able to vote her out, it would have proven this. I had a plan to vote Dylan at 7, and then Julia remained the biggest target at 6, and she would go there. And I was going to vote her at 6. However, I put too much power into Lauren's hands, as she was the swing vote at 8, and then she became the swing vote at 7. At Final 11, I put too much power into Dylan's hands and allowed him to be the swing vote, voting out someone I was very close with in Chris. However, through all of these mistakes, I was still able to regain power, control the game, and ultimately sit at the end. Survivor is not a game of just counting the things you did right, but you have to own the things that you did wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say that I played perfect, but I think I played damn well. In conclusion, in terms of strategic, social, and physical elements, I think I did very well this season. I made strategic moves when it was time to let certain people go, constantly counting numbers, planning around advantages. Socially, I was able to use my ability to make people want to keep me around to manage my threat level and only have my name written down one time. Physically, I was able to win 2 individual immunities, including the biggest one of the game at Final 4, because every single person knew that Dylan was going to beat us at the end. And neither of my alliance members, and Molly or Kyle's, they both said they couldn't beat him, so I had to do it. If it was forced fire, I was going to give them the necklace, send them both here, and face Dylan myself, because he was the most well-placed social person besides myself. I think I played the best, well-rounded game that was possible, and I think I deserve to win this season. Jury, I look forward to your questions. Molly, Kyle, best of luck. Yeah.
Is it me?
Yeah, I believe Molly was next.
Okay. All right. Hi, guys. I just want to start by thanking the hosting team for having me back. You guys are amazing and you run a phenomenal game. And I also want to congratulate my finalists, Tyler and Kyle. I love you guys. Really happy to be here with y'all. I'm going to try to make this as short and sweet as possible. I'm not going to go vote by vote here. So if you do have any specific vote out questions, please ask me. I'll be happy to answer them. Pre-merge did start out pretty good for me. I was on a pretty winning tribe while it lasted. I formed crucial bonds with my tribe from day one, especially Kyle and Dylan, connections that would work in my favor the entire game. As soon as Dylan was sent to exile as a result of the token genes card, I had a feeling that there would be an idol put into play, and I was right. It was confirmed when he asked me to help him with the clue the next day. I was able to solve the 3rd and final idol clue and ended up with an idol in my pocket from second boot until final 8. That pretty much every single person in the game knew about starting at the last swap. I first thought that this would be a huge detriment to my game, but it ended up being the opposite. I had an idol everyone knew about and no one was voting for me. I had a shield that I literally never needed. I knew where every single idol and advantage was in this game. I knew Chris had the Saboga idol. I knew Fred went out with the Shapiro idol. I knew about Robert's extra vote immediately. I knew about Kyle's 50-50 coin, Julia's steal a vote, which had been passed around a few times. And I knew immediately about Dylan's knowledge is power. People clearly trusted me with a lot of information, whether it was theirs to share or not. But I used this knowledge to my advantage. I used everyone knowing about my idol to my advantage. I may not have had big, flashy moves, but that idol was steadily a move for me throughout the entire game. I never needed advantages on my side. I just knew where they all were. I never needed individual immunity. And even though my name was thrown a couple times, no one ever got numbers to do that. And I took the people who threw my name out of the game. My flashiest move was probably pre-merge, pushing for Fred to go. I knew Fred needed to go in order for me to be better set up at the merge. However, I didn't vote Fred. I pushed Brad, Derek, and Robert to vote Fred in our alliance called the Wicked Party People. But I was also still extremely close with Dylan and wasn't willing to let them vote him. So I threw out the idea of me voting Jody with Fred and Dylan, but getting Jody to vote Fred with Derek, Robert, and Brad, so that I could keep the trust with the perceived side of Tyler, Julia, Chris, and Shay as much as I could once we merged. I also knew at this point Fred had the idol, so it was definitely a risk, but I like risks. So another vote I felt pretty comfortable and in control of was the Chris vote. I knew at that point Chris had thrown my name as someone who needed to go because I was playing the middle. He was right, I was playing the middle, but I did what I had to do to survive, and I was able to get the votes on Chris that round. Dylan flipping and not voting Robert that round was huge for me. I knew Chris had thrown my name, but I also knew they weren't actually voting me that round, and I still held on to the idol. I trusted Shay telling me that I didn't need it, and my bond with her was one of the most important bonds that I had in this game. I was then voted who's playing emotionally, not strategically, in touchy subjects, and I was immediately ready to prove that wrong. Every single vote I made in this game was strategic, and it put me in a better position. I am an emotional person, I won't deny that, but I'm a strategic player. I cry a lot in these games, and I cried a lot in this game specifically, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Crying doesn't show weakness, it shows passion, it shows you care, and if you take anything away from this, please take that. Regardless of what happens tonight, I know I made some really tough decisions in this game and votes in this game, especially toward the end. Dylan and Shay were easily two of the hardest votes I've ever had to cast, and I knew that either of them got to the end, they were winning. So I had to be selfish and I had to think of myself. I wanted to win, so I did what I needed to do. I made the correct moves at the correct times. I knew where everything was. I had partnerships with people on both perceived sides that always kept me safe, and I played my heart out. I could not be more proud or confident in my game, and I hope that shows. I look forward to answering any questions with full honesty. Don't hold back. I love you guys, and thank you all for an amazing game.
Okay, thank you, Molly. Kyle, can you go next?
I'm so nervous. I'm so freaking nervous. But I'm going to try to compartmentalize this all into one speech for you guys. So before I start with my game speech, I just want to say three quick things. My first thing is thank you to the host, McKenna, Gabe, Amanda, and Matt for an amazing season and for, you know, taking me back, giving me a chance again to play from all the way from season 1. I've been waiting super, super long to play this season, so I'm like blessed, privileged, thankful that I get the opportunity now to play. The second thing is I do not like these short speeches because I can ramble on and I want to go very in depth about my game. So if there's stuff that I'm forgetting, just, you know, question me, give me the hard questions. I'm here for it. And so I'm ready. And then the third thing is I just want to apologize to anyone and everyone that feels a certain way about me personally. I never had any intention to do anything bad intentionally in this game with anyone. So I just want to clear the air. And if there's anybody, if there's anybody who's hurt by anything I did personally, I'm sorry for that. Okay, so going into my game, I started off on OG Shapiro, where I must have had about 20 plus hours worth of calls and probably more alliances than there were people on that tribe. I quickly socially inclined myself with everybody on that tribe to the point where I knew everybody's name was out there besides mine and Fred's. And I positioned myself well to the point where we kept on winning challenges. We never went to tribal. I never had to show where I actually stood. My game kind of reset when I went to Mogo Mogo and I got dissolved with Bill and Dylan into the Mogo Mogo tribe. After 24 hours, I was probably in the best spot in that entire tribe. I had a 5-person alliance with Katie, Brad, Lauren, Derek, and myself, I had a 4-person alliance with Jody, Tyler, Dylan, and myself. I had a 3-person alliance with Katie and Lauren, and I had a 4-person alliance with Brad, Bill, and Derek. So I knew what was going on that entire time. Also, the information about Molly's idol that was given to other people, that was all me. I was the one that told everyone. I let Bill take the hit for it, and it was best for my game for Bill to go because he wasn't here to defend himself against me telling everyone that Molly had the idol. And I did it as a way to leverage trust with Mogo Mogo so they would trust me more. And it was easy for me because I could have been pinned Bill as the one to do it, and I did. So then with the second Cabone snake ladder twist, I specifically chose Saboga because I knew I had already infiltrated Shapira. I had infiltrated Mogo Mogo. There was one tribe left on my hit list that I had to get into alliances with, and that was Saboga. So I chose to go with that tribe. And then I quickly got in good with Shaylin, Chris, Julia, and then I knew Ed, Lauren, and Katie were relying on me. In order for me to preserve being on the middle, I voted for myself on the Katie votes and pretended like I had this advantage, the 50-50 coin. Just to clear it all up, I never had a 50-50 coin. That was a lie that I made up to install fear in others that they think I had it when I actually didn't, and I could play that to my advantage and get people to trust me. And it worked because immediately after that, Shay and Chris both told me about Chris's idol, and everybody thought I had this 50-50 coin, which I never had. Then we got to the merge, and people saw me as a lone wolf. I wasn't really attached to anyone, and that brought me into others to say, you should work with me. Meanwhile, everyone was thinking the same thing, so everybody brought me into something, thinking I was alone, when actually I was with everyone. I feel like even though I was working with everyone, I don't feel like I burned people to the point where I lied too excessively or I did anything that is out of character for me or not humane. With regards to my social game, I feel like I played a very good, very phenomenal social game, I'll say, where I was willing to talk to anyone any hour of the day, any second of the day. If you want to chat about your dog, your wife, your cat, your kids, whatever, I'm always here. And I feel like I built such beneficial, crucial relationships that I needed to make it further in this game. And I did just that. With my strategy, a lot of people may think that I played emotional, but even though I did get emotional at times, like the part of me using emotions, like, oh, I'm at the bottom, I'm in this position, that was part of me weaponizing my emotions, call me Miss Marianne, but I wanted to play it smartly with how I'm presenting myself to others. And I think I did just that. I knew what was going on this entire game. Every tribal, I knew whose names were out there. Even if I voted in the minority, that was also a strategy for me to just play it up to the group that I was with, that, oh crap, we were left on the outs, you know, I knew what I was doing. I knew who had every advantage before it was played. I knew who had every idol. Against all odds, against people underestimating me this entire game, I still made it here. And I'm at final 3. So I just want to say, like, I respect Molly and Tyler's game. I love them as my friends and as people. I don't want to do anything to bring them down to that level. Like, I'm going to do everything to defend myself against them, but I do have a lot of respect for them. So yeah, with that, I just want to say good luck to everyone, and I can't wait for your questions.
Okay, thank you, Kyle, and thank you, Final Tree, for presenting your intro speeches. So we are going to the jury stage where we will hand over the questions to them. So first up, Ed, if you can open us up. Thank you.
Okay. So I had a question for all of you, but yeah, so that just went out the window. Great speeches. First of all, congratulations to all 3 of you. Tyler, probably my favorite speech out of the 3. Very elaborate, I kind of understand your game, and this is from someone that was voted off like the first year. And coming into this, I know Cam was like the second boot of the, starting the jury, but even he has like a bigger grasp on the game. So for me, it was kind of like, what am I gonna ask? So I do appreciate you like explaining your gameplay. Like I had no idea what was going on. First member of the jury, so I kind of have a better, I guess, view of your game. So I do appreciate that. Molly, great speech. I love that you kind of like showed your emotions and that you also talked about the moves that you made. So good. Um, and Kyle, I was hoping that you would talk more about your strategic gameplay. You touched on the social game. Um, but I'm gonna ask you something about that. So I just wanted to say that I think that any of the three of you will deserve the win no matter what. So touching on Tyler, I'm gonna start with you. You mentioned that you made a lot of mistakes in this game. Sorry, background noise. Um, Tell me what was one of your mistakes that you made, and then how were you able to recover, or what did you learn about that mistake? How did that shape your gameplay moving forward?
Sure. No, absolutely. I think one of the biggest mistakes, and it was a very similar mistake, and I touched on it in my speech. At 11, I gave Dylan a lot of power, essentially needing him to be a swing vote. And then at 8, and he swung against my side and voted Chris. And then at 8, it was a very similar situation where we needed Lauren, but then Lauren carried that power into 7. And rather than my plan of Dylan at 7, Julia at 6 working, Lauren held all the power in the game. At 11, Dylan held the power. And I was still able to point out to both of these people sitting here, but also pretty much everyone in the game at that point, Shay and Dylan as well, that Lauren, because of how she had taken control of the game at 8 and 7, she was a giant threat to win at that point because she could say strategically she flipped from both sides on back-to-back votes. So I was able to leverage to everyone, and I think everyone kind of realized it, but I at least was vocalizing she is a giant threat at this point, and this is why we have to vote her at 6. It caused me to divert my my goal of Dylan at 7, Julia at 6. When Julia goes at 7, I knew Dylan couldn't go at 6. So I had to divert to the person that had made herself the biggest threat in the game in Lauren. But that was probably my biggest mistake, was giving another person too much power. But I was still able to redirect the course and manage to overcome it anyway. Thank you, Ed.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that answer. I also want to say, ask you something, but also want to commend you for being the only bitch at Final 13 to tell me and be honest with me. Gabe was there. You were like, just so you know, and I was like, I can't ask you to vote for your friend, you know, it's Julia and it's me. And then you're like,
It had
I'll
nothing to
talk
do
you
with
and I'll get back to you. And you actually did. You were like, sorry, buddy, I'm voting for you. And then like even like my closest allies, they just, you know, they didn't even respond. I was like, oh shit, you know, I knew it was me, but you know, I really appreciate it though, even though it was kind of like friend Viver, and I know that you were kind of like, I'm being pushed into playing this. I get it. I hope that you can explain how you were able to, in a season where there was like a lot of friend Viver, and I mean at this point I'm over it, it's just part of the game. How can you manipulate it to your advantage without actually being like a cop out, but also making it like something in your favor, you know? So
Absolutely.
my second question to you, very small question, I just want to know.
Sure.
I mean, I can stall. I mean, these bitches are like taking forever in the jury, just FYI. I feel like I'm at the Oscars. It's like I'm your
They're
host.
taking forever to do what?
Yeah. They just like have a lot of stuff going on, and they're like, if you can stall, I'm like, I can talk
Sure.
forever. Anyways, was it your doing, or did you push to get rid of Dylan at Final Four? Who actually, or was it just everyone like he's the biggest threat? Let's get rid of him.
So, and I guess I'll shed a little light on all 3 of our games, and they can both speak if they don't think it's true. At Final 7, after Julia went, we formed a group chat that was Final 3 cubed, Final 3, Final 3, Final 3. And we knew at that point that in some order it needed to be Lauren, Shay, Dylan, because they were the 3 biggest threats to all 3 of our games. So no, I won't take complete credit for pushing for Dylan at 4. I will say that I did a lot of work because Molly had told me at one point I don't know if I can vote Dylan. I had done a lot of work to ensure that she would not, or she would vote Dylan, despite being told earlier in the game that she wouldn't. So I did a lot of work in that regard of like just trying to make sure. But no, I think all three of us, and I'm not going to take anything away from either of them, I think all three of us knew that Dylan was the biggest threat at 4, and it was tough. Obviously, if you watched the tribal, it was very emotional. But no, I'm not going to say that I was the one who pushed for it. I think we all three knew it. None of us particularly enjoyed it, but we all knew that it had to be done. And for that reason, I don't think any of the three of us can claim like we were the driving force for Dylan to go at 4. If Dylan would have went at 7, I probably could have said that I was part of the driving force, which is what I wanted. But at 4, no, I don't think any of us were like the key person, but we all just kind of knew we had to do it for each other or for ourselves, but also for each other, because if not, Dylan just wins.
Okay. Just want to say, nice shirt. I like your shirt.
It's
My
really nice. It's got
advice,
like
cool. I love it. My advice to you would probably be to getting my vote would be your speech was really good. Like so easy, very detailed, without like rambling, which I'm doing it right now. But like I want you to like say more stuff. Like, what did you do? What else? Because I was like, oh, Tyler, yeah, 2 immunities, that's very impressive. But I just want to hear more. You almost got me. And I want to keep an open mind. I never vote on friendship, but I want you to wow me because I feel like I really loved your speech.
sure. I will do
Okay,
my best.
and now, yes, good luck. Molly, I loved your speech as well. I wouldn't say my problem. I guess what I'm looking for to vote for you would be I want you to be more aggressive, more. You talked about passion. I want you to talk more about agency moves that you did, things that people didn't know, like you knew about advantages, like that's like you having a killer social game, and we know that. Like I was like, we need to get Molly out. Everybody was like, pretty much was like, she's gonna go to the end or she's gonna be taken out at final 6, and you're here, and that's a testament to your gameplay. But I want to see what did you do specifically. It doesn't have to be like a masterful like blindside. It just have to be like, wow, Molly did that, like subtle moves like agency. But I did love that you kind of touch upon your game. You weren't just like, I play the social card, and you can play the social card, but you can also ties into like strategic and how you make that work for yourself. So if you can like say more stuff about that, I'm all ears.
Now?
Yes, if you want, or you can take 10
No,
seconds.
sorry, I couldn't tell if you were asking me a question or just that was what you needed.
Sorry.
But okay. Yeah, I was gonna talk a little bit more in my speech about my social game, but I know that everyone knows that that is always one of my biggest strengths. So I touched more upon a little bit more of the strategic side. But I feel like I really was kind of a pivotal force in the Chris vote because I knew that Chris had been throwing my name and I was threatened by that. And I pushed for the votes to be on Chris and not Julia because people were wanting to vote Julia. But then I even before yes, I sorry, I'm like so nervous. But no, I wanted Chris out of the game, which broke my heart because I love Chris so much. He's fantastic, but I had to put my heart aside for a second and think about the game. And I knew that Chris going would put me in a better spot because that was just one less person that was going to be throwing my name. They didn't vote for me that round and I knew they weren't, but they were voting for Robert. But had it worked and had Robert been out, I think they would have come for me next. So I think Chris would have continued to target me and I needed to take that threat out of the game at that point. So Dylan flipping and voting for Chris was huge. And I think I did have a little bit of influence on that. So.
Okay. I will also like to say that you mentioned making strong bonds. And I'll get to Kyle on this because this is like a parallel. You had to betray a lot of people yet a lot of people seem to not be mad at you. So if you can touch upon how, because it's so easy to be like that person that everybody loves and they think that you're with them. And as soon as you do something that's better for your game, people like want to like lynch you, like, oh, blocked, or like the most evil person, but you for some reason are just like, oh, Molly, it's okay. So I think that's the strength of yours. And if you can highlight more stuff that you did, I feel like you're in there, on the way to getting my vote. I wish you good luck. And it's okay to be nervous. I know how much passion you have and you deserve to be here. So good luck to you, Molly. And finally to Kyle. I'll be honest. First of all, you bitch, you lied to me. You told me you got and you know what you lied to me about. We're gonna talk about this afterwards. I knew it. I knew you were lying, but at that point I was like, you sneaky. But you know what? I'm not even mad. I'm just like, damn, I like people brought it this season, which takes me much to game on. Some bitches are really mad at you. And honestly, it's just a game. But that's coming from someone who's played with you and he knows you're a snake, but you're a good person. So whatever people throw at you, just don't take it to heart. My biggest advice to you is be humble. Being humble is a huge thing. You were talking about your gameplay, it kind of came across as like, I did this, I did that, and maybe that's just the way you're approaching it, but it was like, so it might rub the people the wrong way, but I want you to talk on strategic, moves that you did. Because right now you're kind of like being a me, where like I rely on my social game and I have to hold you accountable that where's the strategic, where are the jokes? So I want to know a big move that you made that people didn't know, or how did you get here? Because a lot of people were saying that you were like the easy vote and you still managed to get here. So I just want to say, as someone who was with you most of the time, and I was like, I know you can get there, and you did. So congrats on that. But just talk about, if you can talk about right now, like a strategic move that you did or biggest move. Like, I'm kind of mad about the coin, but you duped us all. So, I mean, I think that's good, but that was pre-merge. So, well, not really, because it ties into like the jury's like, did he really have a 50-50 coin? But strategic move, please talk about
Okay,
that.
so I think a lot of people's perception that I would have been this easy vote. I think everybody thinks that because they're not clued in about how much I was with the other side. Like, I was the only person in this entire game to be on all three tribes for the longest time. Like, I was on Shapira, I was on Saboga, I was on Mogo Mogo. And within those three tribes, I had like, oh my God, like when they do the alliance counts after the season, you're going to be like shocked at the amount of alliances I was in. So, but even saying that, I didn't even vote most people out. That's why I'm saying, like, I think there's some people on jury who think I voted them out, but I actually didn't. Like, I can tell you right now, I didn't vote half of the people out on jury, so I don't get why people's mad at me particularly.
You voted
But
me out and you told me you wouldn't vote for me. Yet I'm not
okay,
mad.
but
I told you it's okay. It's okay. I'm just
yeah,
saying,
but still,
just letting you know, you lied a lot, but I love that. Because I know, like, in this game, this is like, people are like, I'm gonna pull a Sheehan. This is All Stars. And I'm talking to the jury. People in glass houses and throw stones, glass houses, whatever. There's a lot of people who are like mad. This is the season of the snake. And a lot of people, like, some of these people are probably like, I don't know, but you lied a lot. Like, talk about that, because lying is, I mean, we were playing Survivor, but to each its own.
okay,
But
so definitely,
absolutely.
like, I definitely underplayed the fact of how well of a position I was in. Like, I really seriously underplayed that. Even though it might not sound like the smartest move, I think I said this a bit in my opening speech. I think the smartest thing for me to do was vote for myself on the KD vote, because if merge was right after that, I didn't have to pick a side in the KD vote. I just voted for myself and pretended like I have this advantage, which people thought, And so when merge came, I'm like, crap. And I still said, Ed, and I'll say this to everyone, your vote was stupid. It didn't make sense. It was
I know
really
these bitches are
unlogical.
boring. Like, like I was like the Haley of game changers. These people
And
like
that's my thing. Like, that's my thing as well. Like, after Ed and Cameron went, my name was out there from 11, 10, 9 because people thought I was this easy vote. And that's all in their perception because they didn't realize how well I was working with the next person and the next person. Like, and so people, if mad at me, they're mad that they didn't take the shot at me because they didn't realize that I was with everyone, you know? Like, and that's where I will say, like,
okay, so sorry to stop you there, but Robert just said
Yeah.
in the joke chat that you push my name to Robert. Is that true?
more Robert and I were never working together. So I like, even though it was very limited with Robert,
Did
and
you?
you know Ed already. Yeah,
It,
like
I
I
won't
pushed
be
your name when it was already out there. Yes, for sure.
okay. Okay, cool.
But like with
I like the
Robert specifically, I'm not going to be rude or anything, but he was one of the last people I went to just because he was the only person in the merge that I wasn't on a try with pre-merge. So I feel like my game was very hindered around like hiding my strategic game by showcasing that, hey, I'm playing this emotional game, but like I didn't want anybody to know where I stood because as soon as people knew that I was working with Mogo Mogo, Saboga, Shapira, everybody from those dynamics, then they would catch on to the game that I'm playing. And you just said it that people thought I was this easy vote, which means I had to do what I had to do. People underestimated me this entire time. And I showed them exactly why I wasn't an easy vote because I'm still here and I did what I had to do. So, yeah.
Okay. I don't want to take more time. I mean, these people said to stall, but I guess not. Just to finish it off, I will say your speech was probably not the weakest, but it left me with like what else did you do? I think that just be humble, talk about your gameplay because you deserve to be here. And I told you you're gonna be here, and you did it. So I just like show more. I want you like best of luck. There's no hard feelings at all. You're a snake, and I've told you you're a snake, but like we're still gonna be friends. And I hope people can understand that it is a game. And I mean, half of these winners, they've like had to lie. So I mean, yeah, good luck to all three of you. All right, people. That's a wrap. That's my time. Thank you.
Love
Okay,
you, Ed.
thank
Thank
you,
Thank you
Ed.
so much, Eder.
So next up, we have our next juror. Cameron can't be here right now, so we're calling in Chris to fill up his spot right now. Take it away, Chris.
Okay, so I'll be quick because we have a time limit now. I'll start with Kyle. I'll go in reverse order. It'll be fun. Kyle, I feel like I've been one of your bigger supporters in the jury chat, and I've been telling a lot of people you never lied to me. And now I find out you lied about the 50-50 coin. Why did you make that up? What was the point of that?
Okay, so the general lie of the 50-50 coin, it wasn't like against anybody specifically. And it was just something I told everyone to, first of all, so I could gain trust from people so they would trust me with more things. It was a cover up for the KD vote, having an excuse to vote for myself. Because people couldn't understand why I did that. So the easiest thing was to just, okay, I have an advantage that I didn't really have. And then to put fear into people's minds because I knew I was one of the more alone people at Merge that people would look at me and say like, maybe we should get Kyle out. And so I'm like, it sticks in the back of their mind that I have a 50-50 coin. So if they do think of going for me, then they can't because they think I have an advantage. So that's the general lie. And if I'm going to make up a lie, it might as well be a good one and one that I stick with the whole way throughout. So no, I didn't tell anybody that it wasn't real. I didn't even tell Molly and Tyler until now. So like if it's something I'm going to stick with, it has to be consistent and with everyone. So I'm sorry, Chris.
Oh, no, it's cool. I mean, I get why you did it, but for future reference, if you want an easy lie, just go with internet connection. That's an easy way out for you in particular. And that's really all I have for you, Kyle. I do think you played a great game. I want you to own your game, but I also want to warn you, there are some people here who are unhappy, so just be ready. Molly, I'll come to you next. I just want to shout out to my gummy bear here. I'm so proud of you for making it to the final three. I made a confessional right at the merge, and it said, the title of it was that you and Dylan were the linchpins. And in that confessional, I kind of believed you were playing second fiddle to Dylan. But I believed you two were playing the middle and you two had all the power. Now, I kind of believed I was right on that pretty much this whole time, that you were kind of just playing second fiddle to Dylan. And I want you to prove me wrong right here and give me 3 specific examples why.
Okay. So the first thing that jumps to mind is I feel like that Dylan may have done things in this game for my benefit rather than his, and he told me that at one point. On the Brad vote, he said that Robert's name had been thrown out there and he pushed for it to be Brad instead of Robert because he knew Robert going at that point would hurt me more than Brad, because I felt like Robert and I did have a really close game bond. So that is what Dylan told me, and I believe that's true. So I think that he definitely may have swayed a few votes in my favor there. But I can see that that's the perception, and I fully expected that to be the perception of everyone. So I accept that, but it's not true, and I don't know what else specifically to try to defend that with, but I
How about, I'll rephrase my question for you. We can back it up just a little bit. Can you just give me 2 examples of what you did on your own that got you here right now? Two things you can just claim as your own.
Yeah, honestly, it was pre-merge, but Fred going and me not voting for him was my idea to play double agent there and vote Jody with Fred and Dylan to keep the trust of other people. And I did bring that up to Derek, Brad, and Robert, and then I also did tell Dylan that that's what I was doing. And I knew that Fred had the idol, and so did Dylan. And I told Dylan to not tell Fred to play, to not think. I told Dylan to make sure Fred didn't play the idol, and he didn't. So, sorry, I'm just flustered.
No, it's okay. If you know what, you don't have to answer the rest of my question. That was really it. Take a minute, take a breath. You're doing fine. You're just a little nervous. You got this, okay? Own your game, be strong. Gummy supremacy. I love you, Molly. Don't be sad, don't cry. Oops. Tyler, I'm gonna come to you next, I guess. I don't have a question for you. I think you made a great speech for your opening speech. For me, I think you played the ultimate positioning game. I don't necessarily think you had a lot of power most of the game, but you had the ability to put yourself in a position to be where you are. And quite frankly, I compliment you for that. And I think you did a wonderful job, and you just have to just keep owning your game. And my advice to you is just sometimes less is more.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
Chris, I can say, oh, sorry.
No, I'm not, Molly, go ahead.
I just want to say one other thing. Dylan was a face of a lot of those votes and the obvious threat of a lot of people, and I used that. I knew that he would be looked at before me, and I used him as a shield to some extent, and that's why he's on the jury and I'm here. So I hope
Thank you.
that helps.
That's the fight I want to see. Keep bringing that. Best of luck to all 3 of you, and you should all be very proud that you got here.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you so much, Chris. Okay, next up is our next juror. Derek can join us.
Hi, everyone. All right. So first of all, I want to say congratulations to the 3 of you. As you know, this cast was absolutely stacked. To be here is a massive accomplishment. So I'm just props to you all for making it this far. Tyler and Molly, I want to apologize because I'm going to spend most of this time addressing Kyle. I will ask you a question at the end, but I just have some stuff I got to get off my chest. So, Kyle, in your opening speech, I was really, really hoping that you were going to apologize in some form, but you didn't. Because of that, I have to do something that's kind of out of character. I have to be a little bit mean. That's why I changed my name to Ricky Ticky Tavi for this part of my jury, because I feel like you were a snake in this game, and I'm going to tell you why. We started off this game, and you came on to Mogo Mogo, and I took you under my wing. You know that. I said, I want to make sure you have a comfortable position here. I really thought that we were having this incredible bond. And I know that you said that you had connections all over that tribe, so you really didn't need me as much as I felt. But I feel like you were blowing smoke up my ass this entire game. I'm going to tell you some of the things that you said to me in this game. You started off our conversations by calling me a survivor celebrity. You said that you were nervous to talk to me because I'm famous. You were honored to work with me and grateful that I provided stability for you in that tribe. You also said, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for having my back. I hope I can show that to you as well. I told you that I play a loyal game. I always do. And that is rarely reciprocated. You told me that you thought I deserved to win by this point and that you were rooting for me. You said you helped me out so much on this tribe, and I'm just really appreciative of that. I felt hopeless. If I get any opportunity to help you, I will do that. Me and you talked about the primetime game with Topher. You said it was heartbreaking hearing you talk about how much you trusted him. And despite all of that, you still voted him to win. Remember you saying that to me? Okay. You said he made it to the end, yes, but you just can't rub people the wrong way. I want you to know that you rubbed me the wrong way. You said, this was from Merge On. You said these things to me. I hope you know where my loyalty stands. The soaps are the only people I truly care about in this game. I've been with you from the moment I met you, and that hasn't changed. You can rely on me. If the vote was between you or any of the soaps and anyone else, I would choose you guys. You have claimed that it was a huge move for you to vote for yourself when Katie went out. That was not having the soaps back. That was you not wanting any blood on your hands and you sitting that vote out. When I went out, you threw a vote at Tyler so that you didn't have to have any blood on your hands when I went out. You had opportunities to save me, to prove your loyalty to me, to show your appreciation like you had mentioned several times, and you watched me go out the door. That's fine. It got you here to the end, but I can be mad at you for this. You told me that I deserved better in these games. And guess who treated me the worst in this game? You did. I can't let that slide. I just can't. I mean, I'm proud of you for making the end. I'm not going to hold this against you personally, but in this game, you were a snake. I had to bring all of this to light. Like, I think that you're probably a great person in real life, but in this game, man, did it hurt. Like, you could have shown me at least a little bit of respect and told me, hey, I'm going to throw my vote and let you go out of this game. But you said, I'm going to do everything I can to keep you here. And you threw your vote and just let me go. It's rough, dude. Lauren called you out when she went out, and she had every right to, because you promised all these things to her too. You said that you loved us so much and that you cared so much about us. You said you did not excessively lie in this game, and I really took offense to that because I feel like you did excessively lie in this game, especially to me, Lauren, and Brad. That's fine. If you didn't want to go to the end with any of us, so be it. But I just felt like a lot of these things that you said were, you didn't have to play the way that you did. I hope that you can maybe like address me at the end, but I want to quickly give Tyler and Molly a question, and then I will let you address me, Kyle, before we move on. Tyler and Molly, I just have a quick question for both of you. Tell me about one meaningful relationship that you made in this game and why it got you to the end.
You want to go first, Mom?
Yes, sure. I think that my game relationship with Shay was probably the most meaningful in this game. Shay and I had never played a game together. We had been friends, but we'd never played a game together. So I was really excited to be able to get to form a game connection with Shay. And I think it was definitely the most important connection that I had to that side and that way. I think that Shay told me everything that was going on, and she told me multiple times that I did not need the idol, that I was fine, and I listened to that and I trusted that. Yes, I fumbled the bag with the idol, we all know that, but I think that my relationship with Shay was probably the biggest thing that got me as far as it did. Dylan was obviously another one, but I won't use him because I have played with Dylan before and I have had previous game connections with him. So I had never played with Shay, so that's the one that really was the biggest one for me in getting me this far to the sixth session. So
yeah, so I think I did as much of a job as I could of forming a relationship with everyone, but I think in the vein of like specifically this game, I think Lauren is someone that literally from the word go, like I hit on in my speech, like I was kind of behind the eight ball the first weekend where I was playing an LRG that started like cast announcement was Thursday. Friday at 5 p.m. my phone was getting taken from me and I wasn't getting it until Sunday, which is such a pivotal time within this game. And Lauren was just someone that I just gravitated towards and we hit it off really well. And she's become one of my favorite people. Literally never had a conversation with Lauren before this game, but I think that connection was so strong so early that kind of helped propel my game in senses where, like, for example, when Bill went, I know that there was a push for me to go instead, and people like Lauren, also Brad, like pushed against that because of that connection that we had made so early. So I think Lauren and Brad, I'll put both of them, were probably like the most influential to my early game connections that I made. Thank you so much, Derek. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you both. Kyle, I know that I laid a lot on you, and that's why I wanted to give you a little bit of time to kind of formulate a thought. So yeah, if you did want to try to respond, then now's your moment.
That was a lot. That was really a lot. But it's well deserved. So I'm gonna start with when I first met you. I'm sad that the one person I spoke to this the most about is not on jury, which is Katie, because she knows everything. She probably knew the extent of my conversations with you and how I felt then, but everything that I had told you, Derek, from that moment, like on that tribe, like I meant in that moment, like, and I'll go on to the merge, and like I started to get a little bit frustrated with the soaps, and not you specifically, and I will get to that. But like when I got on the Mogo tribe, I obviously trusted you guys the most. You, Lauren, Brad, and Katie. I still stuck with you to vote Bill out, even when Bill was giving me information. Like, and I trusted that. I took a huge risk for my game to let the numbers go away from the minority to go with you guys. And it's because I trusted that you specifically and Katie had given me the chance to be loyal, because like as soon as I got onto that tribe, like Katie and I had a prior connection, But coming into this game, like she phoned me instantly and was like, okay, I'm going to help you. Same thing you said to me, Derek, I'm going to help you. So yes, everything I said when I met you, I did mean. And like, I'm sad that you think that like our relationship is based on a bunch of bullshit, because I don't know, like that's just where I'm struggling a bit. Also, when it came to the merge, like when I voted for Tyler, sorry, Tyler, I don't think he knew that, but I voted for Tyler on the Derek vote. I knew that vote mine didn't matter anyway. Like I knew Dylan and Robert specifically were the two swing votes for that. They were gonna flip in the revote anyway. I knew your name was out there, and that's where my frustration with the soaps came in, because you guys kept on trusting the middle people. And I understand like you had to, because there was no other option. But like, and I'm not talking about me as a middle person, I'm talking about specifically Molly and Robert. And I spoke to you about this, Derek, like, why the hell do we keep on trusting them? And I said, let's do something differently. And like, that's where I got a little frustrated, because I know I spoke to Molly at times and I spoke to Dylan at times, and their ideal way to go about things was Mogo Mogo, Saboga, Mogo Mogo, Saboga to go. So I knew like, even if they were going to keep on bouncing, it would be something like if Chris went, it would be you, Derek, and then it would be another Saboga and another Mogo Mogo. So I think that's where my frustration came in, where I don't feel like I was being heard when it came to you guys. Also, yeah, I don't know, like, I'm not sure if you're necessarily upset with me specifically because I threw my vote and didn't vote with you. I don't know. I'm a bit confused.
Well, you said that you didn't think your vote mattered that time, but it would have tied it up. And sure, maybe I went in the revote, but you're claiming all game long that you had my back and you wanted an opportunity to show that. And then when push comes to shove, you just sit it out and get no blood on your hands. So I just didn't have respect for that.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like if it's with me, I think more loyalty in the sense that like I would have never voted with you, but there were certain things when it came to strategy, and like we keep on trusting the middle people. I understand they're in the middle for a reason, but like that's where I had this thing. So like I knew the vote didn't matter when it came to my vote. Like, and like if people expected me to vote for you, people thought I did, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So I understand if you think that's like a coward way of doing it or whatever, but the vote, I don't know. I just couldn't do it.
All right. Well, thank you, finalists. That's my time. So we'll move on to the next one. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Rikiti Kitapi. Next up, we have Brad, and Brad, you can take it away.
Sure. Molly, I'd like to start with you. I really enjoyed getting to know you. I knew very few people in this game. I know that the statement was made earlier that so many people had different connections. I didn't. I knew just a couple of people. But Molly, I really enjoyed getting to know you. And so very lighthearted question, but I want you to describe your game and the other two finalist games by using a song. So we talked a lot about music and things we like. So I just want to have some fun with that.
Awesome. Yeah, I loved our chats about music, especially George Strait. But yeah, I love this question. True to form, I feel like I need to describe myself as a Taylor Swift song. And I'll probably give Tyler a Taylor Swift song too, because but if I had to pick a Taylor Swift song to describe my game, I think I would pick I Know Places. I know places we can hide, and I knew where I could hide, and I hid well. I was under the radar at times, and I did have things shielding me, like my idol that I never needed, and I had people shielding me like Dylan. But yeah, for me, I would say I know places, because I know places we can hide. And for Tyler, I would probably give Tyler, oh, this is so hard. There's so many great songs. I would probably give Tyler New Romantics. It's a vibe. I feel like that's a very upbeat, very like positive song. And I feel like Tyler was always one of the people that kept me grounded and kept me, you know, not emotional when I was emotional. It's a very nice, lighthearted song, and I highly suggest you all listen to these songs. Yeah, I would give Tyler New Romantics. He kept me grounded. He kept me sane a lot of the times, and I appreciate him for that. And Kyle, I'm gonna go with Taylor Swift again. We'll stay with the theme. I'll give Kyle You Need to Calm Down, because Kyle and I bonded a lot over this. We're very paranoid a lot of the time. We did have a chat with Shay as well called the Paranoid 3. And Kyle was a little paranoid at times in this game, and maybe that was an act, but he needed to calm down at some points. But we all needed to calm down at some points. But yeah, those are the 3 songs that jump to mind for all of us. And I hope that helped.
It does. Thanks, Molly. Tyler, I really enjoyed getting to know you as well. I think you're a bit of a scoundrel, but I kind of like that. You and I talked the day I was voted out. I did bust my tail for you. And then you said just earlier that you knew I was self-voting, but I told you I wasn't. And you were also in a 4-person alliance with Shay, Kyle, and Julia that was targeting me. So my question is, how do I justify what you told me or what you said earlier with that fact? And I have a follow-up to you as well.
No, absolutely. So the alliance was not, so that alliance was the Matt Williamson Hate Club after Chris was voted out. I think we made a separate 4, but it was the same group. You were not the original target. Robert was the original target. You hadn't read my messages, because that night was the double, and you hadn't read you hadn't even opened my messages for an hour. So I legitimately thought that you just, because I knew you were at home, you were back in Mississippi at that point, I believe. Right. And I knew you had a lot of things going on. I legitimately thought that you just dropped off, like you weren't, I thought you were self-voting. Because you did not tell me where you voted. I found out later that you had a chat with Lauren and Dylan in which you said Kyle. But you did not tell me that you were specifically voting Kyle. So I did not know what you were doing. And in that sense, because you had not opened our messages, you had not replied to anything for a while, I just thought you were I thought you weren't paying attention to the game that night. So at the last minute, I suggested potentially switching to try to, I think it was going to be a 3-2-1 or a 4-3-2, whatever it was, to Robert. But like that was with 3 minutes to go. There was nothing really. So at that point, I just said, fine, will you guys vote Brad? Because I think Brad's voting himself. And I just kind of put my hands up, which is where I made the decision to self-vote. Again, because my only options really, besides my side, were voting you, which you and I had made that, like, I knew you covered my ass for that first stretch of the game.
Right.
And I did not want to dishonor what you and I had talked about. So I refused to vote you. But I didn't tell anyone that. And I told Lauren at the last minute that I thought it was also you. So Lauren asked me, should I throw? I said, maybe. I'll throw as well. My options of throwing were onto Molly or Robert. I didn't want to do Robert because of the reasons I outlined in my speech of I wanted the opportunity. If it went the way I thought it would, I could tell Robert, look, man, I pushed it off of you. I didn't want it to be you. Despite that not fully being the truth. And I did originally want it to be Robert, but I didn't know where you were going to vote, and I needed your vote for Robert.
Sure.
So at that point, it was Robert, Molly, or myself.
Sure.
I didn't want to vote Molly because I thought that in some turn I was going to need Molly, which was correct. I did. I needed to play my social game the way I did to get Molly to eventually do things that she told me she would not ever do. So I voted myself in that situation because I couldn't throw anywhere else. I wasn't going to vote you. I didn't want to vote you. I just had no clue what you were doing, man.
Yeah, and
It
that makes
was
my cell service was dead, so I had nothing. I was in a
no,
arena.
and I
And I told
completely
you
get that, and it feels really shitty. I know you were gone, but you didn't tell me specifically where you were
I thought
voting
I
that
did,
night.
but
You
it's fine. Hey,
and then I found that, in hindsight that like when I was talking to Dylan, because I told Dylan, hey, I think Brad's also self-voting. That was why I thought that the vote was going to go. It wasn't going to tie between Kyle,
Mhm.
or I would have never thrown. I would have swallowed the bullet or ate the bullet and done it. But I thought you were self-voting.
No.
So when I told Dylan that, Dylan said, I don't think he's self-voting, and I was like, I literally like I have no clue because
Right.
you hadn't opened my message. I didn't know what you were doing.
Right.
Turns out Dylan was correct because you had told Dylan and Lauren,
Right.
but you never told me what you were doing specifically.
And I did.
So
I think the message didn't go through. It's okay.
maybe
The one thing I want to say to you, and this is, I like you a lot. I
Yes, sir.
believe that you owe Katie an apology for the night she went out in
I
your
do.
behavior.
I 100% do.
So
I
I just want to
100
point that out. Yeah.
I 100% do. I haven't done it because the game
No,
has
it's
been
fair.
going on.
It's fair.
But no, I 100% owe Katie apology, and I will make that apology.
Yeah.
I,
Hail
it's
State,
been
man. Again, we're good.
Hail State, go Dogs.
Kyle, I really enjoyed getting to know you. I'm a counselor and I work with kids. I work at a church. And so I felt like we had a deep personal connection. I don't know what to believe anymore. Ed made a point that it's just a game, but I will tell you, for me, on the backside, no one hurt me in a game like you did. I did target you at the end because I figured out way too late that I should have never trusted you to begin with. And it's deeply hurtful. The things that you told me and the path that I felt like you led me down, I was going to do whatever for you. And I'm very disappointed in you. I think you're young, and I hope with integrity you would learn that there are some things that you just can't bring into a game, but you brought them into a game. So my only question for you, and I want one word as an answer, but my only question for you is, in a game that is literally worth nothing except a title, was it worth it for you to hurt the people that you hurt?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. I'm done.
Okay, so Robert, if you can join us, thank you once again, Brad, for the questions. Okay, Robert, take it away.
I had to put on my Eras Tour hat because of the Taylor Swift question and my anti-hero shirt. Yeah, I adore all three of you. So as much as I was looking forward to grilling you, it was not my style. I think you guys are all great. So I just have quick notes about to all three of you, a question, and then one little fun surprise. So I'll start with Tyler. I think you played a really great game. You were definitely the dark horse in the game. I didn't expect you to go to final three. The only comment I have about your game, that like negative comment, is I feel like it was very would have, could have, should have. But just because it felt very much like, yes, you said that you were gonna vote out your friends Julia and Dylan, and the Dylan ones did happen, but it seems like it could have, if you wanted it to happen earlier, it could have, especially with Julia, because I think there were so many like close pivotal votes. Kyle, I appreciate how social you were in this game. Like I would message everyone the good mornings, and then I'd be on the third person, I'd be like, okay, I have to message Kyle back. I'd be like on the fifth person, oh, gotta message him back. So I appreciate a good social game. A bit, I think you were a little chaotic and you stressed me out so much, but you stressed me out. So like also at the same time, like that was, I guess, good gameplay at your end. And then Molly, like Chakra, obviously, I adore you. I appreciate, because I thought this game was so hard because I look at jury and I think I knew everyone minus two people and view all these people as friends. So it was really hard voting people out. And I know that you're a lot closer with them. So I appreciate that, like, although I'm a little sad that you told everyone about my extra vote, I appreciate that you didn't make a bad game move and keep it a secret, even though we're friends. So I do appreciate that, but a little sad because I did really trust you with it. But at the same time, like I get the game side of it. So I had the same question for all three of you, and like in interest of time, I'll give you guys like 45 seconds to a minute. So my question is, obviously, like all stirrers, we all value different things in a winner. So my question is, what do you think is a trait or quality I really value? And how did you do that in the game? So I'll start with Tyler.
Sure, absolutely. So I think a trait that I think you would understand or like you value is perseverance. I think I was put into a rough situation, partly because of my own actions early on, but I was put into a situation where I had to fight, and as you said, I was a dark horse. I had to claw. I had to do a lot of things um, to keep people on my side, but I never lost hope. I never gave up, and I kept like even when situations were really bad, is I would keep trying to just keep my name in good graces with everyone, um, despite being discouraged, despite feeling down. I still would fight and try to make people want to keep me around and view me as a valuable ally. And I think I did a really good job of that. And that took a lot of like soul searching at points of like, all right, I don't feel like I have this game. Like my confessional can confirm it. I felt terrible at points, but I still fought at the end of the day. And I think the perseverance and the battle that I showed is a strong quality.
Awesome. Thank you. I love the word perseverance mostly because I cannot spell it for the life of me. So I typed it out on my little notes and it gave me the red squiggly line. So Kyle, onto you. So what is a quality you think I look for in a potential winner and how did you exemplify it?
I think a quality you look for is someone being attractive, and I think I look pretty attractive. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Robert. Well, as someone who's made Final Two with you before, I feel like I can say this safely. I feel like adaptability is something you look really closely at, like how somebody is able to maneuver in a. Where am I looking? Sorry, the camera's down. Yeah, but I feel like you're somebody who looks at more at adaptability. Just getting to the next stage, like seeing what the path is there, being as crucial as you can with the way that you see forward and how you can maneuver from like final 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, and all the way to final like 3, 2. So I think adaptability is super important because if you're not able to, adapt to being at the bottom or adapt to being a threat or anything like that, then you're not going to get to the end. So I feel like adaptability is the number one thing. And I would say that you respect as a juror.
Oh, definitely. And I know how to spell that word, so thank you. And then Molly, last one for you. What is something you think I look for in a winner and how did you exemplify it?
I think that you respect things like honesty, and I don't mean that necessarily in a I didn't lie to anybody, because I did, but honesty meaning I wasn't afraid to show exactly how I was feeling, and I wasn't afraid to let things show, because I think it was pretty clear with everyone where I stood mentally and emotionally. Like I didn't pretend like everything was fine. I didn't do that because it was never fine. But I think you respect integrity and honesty, but more integrity and honesty with yourself rather than to other people, if that makes sense. Because I'm not going to sit here and say that I was honest with everyone, because I wasn't. I told lies, but I told necessary lies. But I think that being true to yourself, as cheesy and stupid as it sounds, is something that you respect in a winner.
Okay, I will say all three of you did very well because I wrote out like 7 words and all 3 of those words you guys said were on there. So that was good. I think that's a good testament to all of your all social game. So one last thing before I jump off, because the queen is behind me and I think she is ready to eat some souls. But this game was really fun because we had to pick cards, even though I just would always just cry and be like, where's the Micronesia card? And then I got the Micronesia card. And I think I pumped at the challenge. So I am thinking of 3 seasons. I am thinking of Borneo, season 1. I want to say it was season 31, Second Chances, but I think I actually messed this up when we had to vote on them. So Second Chances, it's either 31 or 32. and then Nicaragua 21. So in the spirit of the game, you guys just have 10 seconds, like each, like collectively, all three of you need to pick one of those 3 seasons.
Like collectively with each other.
Like we're voting on it together?
Yeah, we can vote on it.
Second Chance is one of my favorite seasons ever. So
I love
throw
Second Chance.
I was gonna say Borneo just to keep the old school tradition because.
Well,
But
okay,
I love
so we'll go
Yeah.
with second chances. So if you guys remember, there was Kelly, not Wentworth, Wigglesworth, from Wigglesworth, thank you, from Borneo, and she asked pick number 1 through 10. So I actually have a number written down in here, and that will determine the vote. So Tyler, you can pick first.
4.
I said 1 through 10, right?
We said 1 through 10, yeah. So 4.
1 through 10. Okay, cool. So we got 4. Kyle, you can pick next.
8.
Right. And Molly, I'll let you pick last.
6.
Cool. All right. Well, it's been great. It's been fun. You guys are all awesome, and I will see you on the flip side.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you so much, Huttard. So moving on, we have, according to the Zoom name, the baddest bitch in the house, aka Julia Rowe. So feel free to join us, Julia. Let's see. Oh, wait 1 sec. Apparently she does not have service. Lauren, can you fill in for us? Thank you.
What
So-
up, everyone? Motorcycle bitch in the house. I said I'd bring it. This time I'm going to take off my shades because I'm assuming everyone can hear me. I'm not screwing that up again because I couldn't see the thumbs up last time. There we go. I got some thumbs up. How's it going? First of all, congrats on making it to the end. It's an all-star game. It's very difficult to make it again to the end in any game, but all-stars kick ass. So congratulations to all 3 of you. I'm fun. That's how I'm always going to be. So let's have fun. It is all-stars, like I said. So before this happened, this little shindig here of an FTC, I had the lovely host reach out to you and asked if you have seen the movie Shrek, which pertains to my question. So I got the go-ahead that all of you have. So we're going to get this rolling. I want you to pick a character from Shrek that resembles the way that you play this game. And then I also would like you to pick a character that resembles me on how I played this game. You can go in any order you want. Does not matter. And explain why. Thank you.
I can go. So I love Shrek, and this may seem obvious, but I'm gonna say I think I played like Fiona. I think, as we know, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Shrek, Fiona is also an ogre. So she has 2 sides to her, 2 faces. And I think that I also had a bit of 2 sides to me throughout this game. I had a side that was playing with one side. I had a side that was playing with the other side. I think that I think I have a little bit of Fiona's personality traits at times. But most importantly, I think just the dynamic of her just kind of having 2 different lives, like 2 different sides to her, was one of the things that jumped out about my game. And a Shrek character for you in this game, Lauren. I'm going to say the magic mirror, because the magic mirror sees and hears everything. And I think that you saw and heard everything in this game, and you were always in tune with pretty much everything. And the magic mirror can be a sneaky motorcycle rider, and you're the sneaky motorcycle rider. So.
Kyler, are you good if I go next? Cool. So I think a character for myself. So one, when I said yes, I've seen Shrek. I haven't seen Shrek in years. So I'm working off of what I recall. I think a character for myself is the gingerbread man, who was someone who, if I recall correctly, he was like being held, and like then he was just kind of discarded at the end. Like once he gave the information that he needed, he was thrown away. I feel like, but he fought his way back, and then obviously in Shrek 2 and 3, he was a big character, whatever. So I think that the beginning of my game was a little tough, but I think that I fought and I ingratiated myself with the other people and did enough to keep myself relevant, whereas he could have been an easy throwaway character. For you, Lauren, I would say Donkey, because I think Donkey, while he's regarded as like this little like fun like comic relief character, he keeps everyone grounded. He's so much fun to just be around. Like everyone loves Donkey. And while I feel like it's he's like the sidekick, it's like he's the reason that Shrek stayed so grounded and stayed on the path that he was on, was because yes, while he always loved Donkey, Donkey was always there to just keep everything lighthearted and fun. And Lauren, that's something that I feel like you and I like met on, was while we talked a lot and everything, and yes, we dealt with the game, everything was always like lighthearted and fun with you and I. And for that reason, I would say Donkey for you.
Okay, so first of all, I'm sorry if I look, my camera is, it's like a keyboard camera or whatever. But okay, I fucking love Shrek. I like watch Shrek every weekend, so this is a pretty fun question. I'm gonna go a little more side character vibes, and I'm gonna say for myself, Prince Charming. I feel like I have the social game to like back it up, and like I'm very good with people socially, but also Prince Charming, you would regard him as like a villain, more of like a broken villain, and that's how I feel like I played, like more like I'm not gonna say strictly emotional, but I did get emotional at times, and then but I still had like good social backup, or I capitalized on my social bonds with people, and like I just used my charm and my accent to get good with people. And then for you, I'm gonna keep it side character vibe, and I'm gonna say the fairy godmother. The reason why I'm gonna say the fairy godmother is she can whip up any potion, and like it does what you want it to, and that's how I feel like you played. I feel like you played like super adaptable, like for things to go your way, and that's how I feel like the fairy godmother was. I don't think you're like villainous like the fairy godmother or anything, but just in general terms, like you're able to navigate pretty quickly, pretty well, and be a little sneaky when you have to be, and just I'd say fairy godmother for you, Prince Charming for me.
All right, thank you all. And I have one last quick question for all three of you, because a lot of the jury has gone already. You can always learn something about in every game that you play in. What did I freeze? I know I definitely froze.
You
cut out-
froze
you cut
for
out for me,
just a
okay.
sec. You can repeat
Just
the
a second.
question.
So you didn't get the question, right? I got the question now. Yes. My parents' Wi-Fi shit. Anyway, so my question is, you can always learn something about yourself in every single.
You cut out as soon as you said my question is. It cut out right then.
I'm just gonna type the question. This is terrible. Like, why is this happening? Oh, Jesus. I'm just gonna say as I'm typing. So you can always learn something about yourself in every game that you play. What did you learn about yourself in this particular game?
I think they heard it.
Thank you. See, Carly's gonna make a whole video out of this of me like fucking flopping. It's not even my fault.
This is during the video. Hi, Carly.
Do we have an order, or do you care what order we go in?
No, I don't care. Go ahead.
All right. Well, something that I learned about myself this game is up until when I played Premiere Season 3, I up until that point, I always considered my social game to be the worst part of my game. I felt like connecting with people, while it's what I do for work, as like working in bars and stuff, like I have to talk to people. I've always felt that my social game was the worst part of my game. This game really and truly taught me through every member of the jury that people, like, one, yes, I'm someone that people want to talk to, but I'm able to engage with everyone at some level, no matter who you are. I think I do a good job of that. And that's something that I really doubted in myself. So in season 3, when I won Best Social Game, I really questioned it and I argued it. And I was like, I don't think that I even deserved that. But then this season, I think that I really, and maybe it was because it was premiere again, I'm not entirely certain, but I really set out of, let me find something about everyone that I can talk to. And I think that I was able to do that and prove to everyone why I was of value and an asset to have around, why I was someone that you wanted to have a conversation with. And it means a lot to me that I fought so hard to make connections with everyone, because this entire jury, this entire game was 21 people that were amazing. And to be able to find a way to connect with all of them and all of you was really something that was important to me. And I think I successfully did that. And I learned that about myself through this game.
I can go next. I feel like I learned a great deal about myself this game. I saw the cast and I thought to myself, holy fuck, how am I going to be able to vote some of these people out? Because I love people and I love all these people. And I learned that I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was. I really didn't think that I was going to be able to make the hard moves that I did. And I didn't think that I was going to be able to vote out the people that I did. It was incredibly hard. And maybe I'm not that strong because I did weep over it for hours, but I was able to do it. And I was able to think of myself. I was able to be selfish. And maybe selfish isn't a great word to use, but I was selfish and I thought of myself and I thought, this is my best chance to win. This is me setting myself up as best as I can. And making those hard moves was hard, but I learned that I'm way, way, way stronger than I thought I was before this game. So.
Okay, my answer is going to be a little similar to Molly's, but not exactly the same. I realized that I'm a lot more emotional person than I would love to think normally. Like normally when I play these games, I'm like super focused on the fact that, hey, like it's, you know, you have to play the game for what it is and stuff. But I think this game specifically has taught me I'm a very, very, very emotional person. My emotions get intensified like really quickly. Like the amount of times I've cried in this game is absolutely ridiculous. And that was from like the start of this game until the end. So that's why I made it a promise that I'm not going to cry tonight, because I'm not crying at like a 5th final tribal in a row. But I think like, because this is hard, like really just playing with everyone, and everyone, especially like an all-star game, like a stack game like this, where everyone is so like connected and can connect with one another. It's super freaking hard to like manage my emotions to the level to say like I need to vote this person out, but I don't know how to do that without getting so like high tense. So if there's anything I learned, it's that I'm a very emotional person, more than I give myself not credit, but you know, knowledge for.
All right, well, again, thank you so much. And Tyler, you said it earlier, and I didn't have a single conversation before this game started, and we kicked it off, and it's very meaningful to me, to be honest with you. And with that being said, whoever wins the season, just know you deserve the season, and it's going to be a kick-ass winner, whoever it is. All right, so I'm out. Bye. Gotta leave with the shades. All the love.
Thank you so much, Lauren.
Great. Thank you, Motorcycle Bitch, aka Lauren. Okay, moving on. We're going to get Julia in this time. And Julia, can you come in? Okay, great.
My service is just as bad, so please tell me to shut the fuck up if it gets really robotic.
I'll be on you. Don't worry. Okay.
I love you. So you're my favorite. Anyway, hi skinnies. First off, congratulations on making it here. This was a very, very difficult game. I am proud of all three of you. All three of you played very, very well and should be extremely proud of the games you played and the fact that you made it here in this really difficult All-Star game. I'm gonna be so honest, I just got back from Day Universal Studios. So I have not listened to like any of this. I'm just basically here. So I'm just going to ask a little bit of fun stuff and then comment based on what I've been reading in the jury chat and been keeping up with throughout the beginning portion of this final tribal. So my first question, if you had to pick an animal that resonates with you in the bedroom, what animal would that be and why? You can go in any order, I don't care. Actually, I'd like Kyle to go first. Thank you.
I was about to unmute myself because this is such an easy question for me. I would choose a cat. Like, I would absolutely choose a cat. Like, I'm pretty sure there's times when I'm laying with my cats on their bed and that's the way like I'm rubbing them, they must be like, what the hell are you doing? So I don't know, like I would 100% say a cat. I am very much a cat person in my everyday life, so just in the bed, like, yeah, a cat person for sure.
Do you have a preference on who goes next?
Tyler.
Sure. So in the same vein of Kyle, I was also going to say a cat, but I was going to say a lion, because a lion is the king of the cats. And yeah, I think that I don't know, I think I present myself as someone that's not going to give up, that's always going to persevere, and someone that, you know, every once in a while, like, the lion's lazy, but like sometimes you just got to remind people that you are the lion and you are in charge. And yeah, I was also going to say the lion.
It seems as though we've all had felines on our brains because I was going to say tiger. I don't know. It just is immediately what jumped to my head. I feel like tigers are a little sneaky and stealthy, but at the same time, they can be a little aggressive and just kind of forward and want to push things a certain way. If a tiger were to push a vote, I suppose. I don't know. But yeah, no, I immediately thought of a cat of some form and I picked a tiger. So.
Thank you, but the answer I was looking for was naked mole rat. So moving on to just some general comments. All three of you have at least a little bit of a shot at my vote because I'm an extremely bitter bitch and none of you wrote down Fred's name. So you all had at least a little bit of a shot at my vote. Yeah, I have a couple mottos in life I like to live by. Most of you might know my famous "fuck it, we ball," but a lesser known motto that I live by is "don't be a pussy, be a cunt." And tonight, I feel like all three of you have been the former, not the latter. Tyler, it seems like a lot of your answers have been safe, kind of dog shit. You would say, I think you thought you were the favorite going into it. I think you're treating this like you were the favorite going into this. And I think you really need to step it up with the last couple jurors in your closing statements. Kyle, you just did a lot of stuff that a lot of people think you just did for no fucking reason. So people are trying to prop you up a bit for like the vote throwing shit like that, but you have to explain that, or we all just think you did it because you were too much of a bitch to actually vote for the person who's going home. You can still got two people, you still got your ending. Touch on that a bit more. We all want to know. And Molly, honestly, you are being a bit of a cunt. Keep doing it. Yeah. So that's all I have for you. Also, Molly, Timmy said hi.
Hi, Molly.
Wanted me to
Hi, Timmy.
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
It's okay.
Oh, I'm thriving.
So yes, like I said, you still have 2 jurors left. You have Cam behind me, who's going to give the best monologue of all time. He's finally hoping he can get nominated for this Oscar. He's been trying so hard to get game after game. And 3 jurors. I'm so fucking sorry. 3, kill me. I didn't know the order. I literally have not been here. Mwah. Love you all.
Okay, and with that, Cam, just checking, can you join us right now?
You know what? I actually can, because the Oscars do not wait for people's schedule. So here we go.
Let's go.
First and foremost, I'm going to be very direct, very non-opinionated, and things like that. But first, for anybody, and this is to Tyler directly, because I know Molly, Kyle probably have seen it, but I know Tyler has seen it firsthand, of how a Cameron McCarty bitter jury, where I call people worthless, I call people all these things. But then in this game, and that's exactly how I want to be, so petty. But then in this game, I talked to someone named Shay, and because of how things shaped up in questions, then I changed my attitude towards, is it fun and entertaining to be the way I am? Absolutely. But it also has long-term effects. And from talking to Shay, from her effects after the game because of questions, I have changed it up where I gave the power to the 3 of you on how my question is going to be. So I'm going to ask each and every one of you which one you picked. I believe it was I remember 2 of the 3. It was like Cambodia, Philippines, and there was a third one I don't remember. And I believe you guys did Philippines, right? All of you? Okay, so in each of them, for Cambodia, I was going to be the Andrew Savage, leaving tribal council, flipping the bird, and being absolutely bitter. So none of you picked that. The other one was some chick named Courtney, and I believe it was Survivor Africa. I don't remember. And it was like the whole forgive and forget train. And you guys picked the middle, where it's Malcolm from the Philippines, where he was very direct, called out Denise at one point for shaking her head, and all that. So with that, I wanted to keep the tradition alive, and I wanted you to have the power to depend on that. And all 3 of you have decided to be the middle, not too petty, not too over the top, but just straightforward. So I'm trying to figure out who to start with. I think the 3 of you, I know the 3 of you have absolutely done what you've had to do to get to this point. And no matter what moves you had to make, who you had to piss off, and it does not matter, because the difference is the 3 of you are sitting there and one of you actually has a chance at winning. Okay, 3 of you have a chance at winning this game, but one of you actually will, while the other bitter juries are just sitting back wishing that they were in that spot. So first and foremost, the one that has been getting crapped on all night, Kyle. I would like to be the first to say that previous games we played with, I know how snaky, it's how Ed said it. Ed and I are like your cheerleaders on the side. We're just not in bikinis right now. But the thing is, Kyle, is everybody that is pissed off that you snaked them, either Ed or myself have told them multiple times, you cannot put 100% of trust in Kyle. And I think that right there is a testament at how well of a player and how damn well and how many you probably deserve to win this game. Because of that alone, you had people trust you, you manipulated people, you had to do what you had to do, where people are so bitter that they actually thought you were with them to begin with. And I think that is a testament to your game, and that is something that should not be discredited for you, even though it has multiple times tonight. Now I got my own issues and problems and all that with you. But the one thing that I want to know, Kyle, and not jury pandering, not kissing people's ass. I just want straight in, and I want a logical and evidence answer behind this claim. Is if you could go back and change one action, one word, one anything in this whole game, what would it be and why?
That's a big question. I would have told Lauren that she's going home. I would have phoned her and told her. I didn't think it was such a big deal until tribal that I didn't tell her she was going. I would, yeah.
Okay, yeah. You know why? Is there any big implications because of it, or just felt bad, or?
I think that people are looking at more of the side of me where I think they're better at me because they thought they had me, which proves to my point again, I'm constantly underestimated. But specifically with Lauren, we were tight. We were really, really tight. I said I was not going to vote for any of the soaps, and I didn't vote for Derek, Brad, or Katie. Even if I did throw my vote, that like there was many reasons for me just throwing it. But that's not the question. The reason I would say Lauren was my biggest thing was because I could have told her. Instead, I was too busy running around talking to other people when I could have just said to her, "Hey, look, Lauren, like you're going." But I feel like I'm just going to be honest about this. I feel like Lauren's thing towards me, I feel like the fact that she called me out, and I said this to other people as well, I don't feel like it was because I didn't have a 1-minute call with her. I don't think she's basing my entire game off with me off of that phone call. I really don't think that's the reason why. I think it's because specifically and of the deal was she made with Dylan and Shay that involved me, and then for me to vote her out. I think that's the reason. I'll just say that. But yeah, if I had to say why, it's because I think I've never played with Lauren before. I don't know like what she appreciates in people. I know her outside the game, but then again, it's not talking about in-game stuff. And just for me, I didn't know that she wants me to tell her that she's going. And also, I didn't know if Dylan and Shay were actually going to vote with her and force rocks or 3-3 it against Molly. I didn't know that at the time. I was told there was throwing votes, whatever, but you can't really trust it until it's there. And I can't sit with everybody and tell them, hey, look, you're getting voted out, you're going home. So, but in that specific circumstance with my personal relationship with Lauren, I just should have done it. So.
And you know, the cool thing about your answers here is it's no longer a part of the game, Kyle. It's the true, authentic Kyle who operates outside of the game. And I think if people on the jury actually got their head out of their ass and actually realized that, I think they would actually listen to you more. I think you got a pretty big uphill battle. It's not impossible because as two other people said, Chris said it at one point, Ed said it, I believe, that I mean, there's people advocating for you, but there's also the anti-Kyle train going, but it could get derailed. So thank you. Molly, I came into this game actually wanting to work with you. I know by the time we met up and stuff, it was pretty much gone at that point just because of how things have shaped on tribes, connections, and stuff like that. And I kind of knew coming into the game that probably wasn't going to last very long, which was pretty big evidence on that. My question for you is you kept talking about how you were kind of like use Dylan as a shield as a good example. Was there any other shields or was there anybody that you worked hand in hand with minus Dylan to get yourself to this position in the game? Because not even to get in this position, I think throughout the whole game, you were in a solid position from day one to now.
Yes, definitely. There were people other than Dylan that I worked closely with. Shay was one of them. Absolutely. We had a very close partnership, and we did work together, and we did finagle the middle a little bit together, as well as Tyler. I know he's not on the jury, but I'm going to say it because Tyler and I did have kind of an under the radar duo partnership. We had each other's backs. We always made sure that neither side was voting the other. And I mean, I'm going to say Kyle too, because we also had a very strong partnership, and these two did help me get to the end. We helped each other get here. We did work with each other. But yeah, I would say for sure Shay, and as well as Robert. Robert and I had a strong game on for sure, and he definitely had my back, and he told me things. He told me the truth about a lot of things. But yeah, I would say Shay is definitely, other than Dylan, Shay was definitely the one. Like, I would even say Shay might have been even a stronger bond for me to get here than Dylan. But, yeah, I hope
Perfect. Thank you for that answer. Tyler, now the last time you saw me on as a jury member, do you remember the one thing I said to somebody sitting at the third position?
Offhand, no, I do not.
All right. It was something about the personality was like compared to like a brick wall or something.
Yeah.
Because never really talked, never did any of that. I don't think that about you. I just wanted to see if you remembered my comment. Two things here, and this is also directed towards Dylan, just to be a dick a little bit. I would like to present you my Super Bowl hat, and if you don't remember who lost against them,
I do. I know. I know the game.
Yeah, what was that? The 12th of February. Who could forget, right? In all seriousness, from that, I think you're probably the front runner to win this game, regardless of what you think or what people have asked. I know coming into this, you were probably the one that everyone was hand down going to win, but I think some votes have shifted towards Molly and Kyle too. I do think, as Julia said, the three of you, in the beginning of this, it was a one-sided kind of Team Tyler, and I think these closing speeches are going to actually make a huge difference. For Tyler, I don't really have a question, but more of a statement of, if you truly want to win some of these votes back, I think the biggest thing you have to do, and it's what Julia said, is take risk with the answers you're going to get, because regardless of what people think, these questions are pretty tame compared to what the last two are probably going to be. And I think you need to take a risk, because I think taking a risk, you have a chance of flopping or not. But right now, I think the chances are kind of not in your favor as much as it was to begin. So take a risk. Say the things that might piss some jury members off. But at the end of the day, when you piss people off, this is the one thing you need to say. Are you pissed because it's actually accurate and actually believable? Or are you pissed because you're in your emotional state and you're not going to vote for me because it's not game, it's personal? Because I think any jury person that votes based on their emotions and not actually who played the better game is going to be the difference from you winning or not. So my vote's still open. I know I kind of went in three different areas with each of you, but I think the three of you deserve to be here. The three of you deserve to win the game. And no matter what, do not take crap from anyone. Stand your ground and show these jury members why you deserve that spot more than them. Because at the end of the day, the three of you do deserve that spot more than anyone else. I love each and every one of you. And I'm so glad I got to battle back in for a couple days. And here I am. So good luck, y'all.
Thank you
Thanks,
again,
Cam.
Cam. Okay, so next up is Shay. She can join us. Yay. Okay,
Oh my gosh,
let's go.
hi.
Take us away, Shay.
First of all, thank you, Cam, for not being mean, because you heard how rough that was on me. That was super sweet to say. So I do have like several questions, and I'm gonna be really quick. So I don't want like speeches as answers. If you can try to give me like a few sentences, unless I specify otherwise, that would be awesome. I'm starting a timer right now so that I don't go too long. So my first question for each of you is, what part did I play in your game? I want one sentence and no ego stroke is needed. I just want you to tell me what impact did I personally have in your game. Kyle, you can go first.
I was just gonna unmute myself because I know exactly what to say, and this is not ass kissing. I said I was not gonna cry this FTC, and I'm not going to cry, but but I think you played a huge impact, a huge impact. Like I still told you something like that has nothing to do with the game that I have not told anybody else and that I will not tell anybody else. And that for me to do that is really like over the top. So I think you played an instrumental part in my game because you opened up your door to me, especially on Saboga. I think you were the one specifically that made the alliance with us, that it turned into the We Hate Matt Williamson Club. I don't even remember if it had a name in the start. I don't think so, but anyway, sorry, I'm rambling. But
I appreciate you. I'm going to cut you off because that is
Okay.
a really good run-on
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sentence, but I appreciate what you said. Thank you.
Okay,
Molly,
thanks, Shay.
one sentence.
One sentence. Shay, you were, in a way, my backbone at a lot of times. You made me feel safe, not only just in the game, but just as a person. I can't fit in one sentence how much I appreciated you and your game relationship, but most importantly, your friendship. And I don't care if that sounds like I'm ego stroking. I love you, and you just made me feel right.
Oh, love you, Tyler.
Yeah, I feel like you and I's relationship in this game was very much not a secret, but like it was different. Like it wasn't something that people were like, oh, obviously Shay and Tyler are together, whereas people drew those lines with everyone. And me and you talked about this, that I thought you and I had a connection that like people wouldn't clearly see, but it was really working. I think we were very open and honest with each other. And you shaped a lot of my game through that Matt Williamson Hate Club group that we formed and everything like that. But at the end of the day, you were the biggest threat, and that was why we voted you when we did.
Okay, thank you guys. Good first answer. Okay, now it's a little more personal. So Kyle, hearing other jurors talking about the personal conversations they had with you, I identified with that so quickly because you just said it. We know what conversation we had that night. I told you things I've never told anyone in orgs. I told you things that no one knows about me. It's just you. But they were mixed with game promises. And I'm okay with the fact that you made a game move, but I'm just trying to understand, like, why should I keep my promise to never vote you when you broke yours to me so easily without even getting on a call with me? And I'm not saying you needed to tell me I was going home. I knew I was. But you didn't want to get on a call with me that night, similar to how you did Lauren. And I promised I'd never vote you, and I'm really considering keeping that promise.
Shay, I did call you. I did. 100%, you can go check out one-on-one. I did call you, but I think you were already crying, and like I spoke 2 sentences and then you hung up on me.
Okay,
So
you know what, that might check out. I drink sometimes.
Yeah.
I like to use.
I 100% did call you, and like, because I noticed, because I put it down on my kitchen counter and I was like, she's gone, she hung up on me, like, and I already knew you were crying, so I did call you. I wasn't going to make the same mistake twice.
Okay, you know what? I appreciate you calling me out on that, Kyle. Honestly, you don't even have to. You know what? I was upset with you for that. I think you're right. I was upset. I don't remember it, but I believe you. And then, so thank you for calling me out on that.
I don't think I fully expand on there was no room for you to survive that tribal, Shay. I think Molly can attest to this. I asked her numerous times, can I please just vote with Shay, and like wherever it goes, like whatever. But I didn't want to accidentally vote Molly or Tyler out, because if you and Dylan vote together, I'm like throwing my vote to keep loyalty to you. Then like I accidentally get rid of them like 3-2. So it was very hard for me to navigate. And like even Molly said, like, you can throw it, but rather not on me. But I tried to. I genuinely went into that tribal thinking like, oh my God, I'm just going to throw my vote. But I did not know if you and Dylan were actually voting together. I didn't want to vote out the wrong person. So I didn't know if and I still said to you in my last message, if we had an option to move through there, I would have done it. Like if Dylan didn't win immunity, love you, Dylan, but I was voting him regardless. And I told him that. But Yeah, I didn't want to make the wrong mistake and get crap for it.
So, but even when you say that, Kyle, you're saying you didn't want to throw your vote and me not go. So whether you throw your vote or vote for me directly, if you're a piece in me going home, that's still a piece in me going home. And you basically promised that like you weren't going to let that happen, but that's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
This is not a question that you need to answer, and I love you. Don't be sad at me. I'm just having to ask these questions. You don't have to respond to this, but I just want to like ask you the question so you consider it in future games. Like, is it really worth getting to the end if you hurt people to the point that you might not get their votes at the end? So just a thing to consider, and you don't like, again, you really don't have to answer it. You maybe answer it in your end speech if you want to think about it, but I appreciate you and thank you for answering my questions. Molly, you said I was your most meaningful relationship. In touchy subjects, who did you personally answer to, who you'd want to see win, if not yourself?
I believe, I just have to double check because I don't want to misspeak. But I believe at that point, I believe I put you, but I just want to double check.
No, that's fair.
I'm like literally searching touchy my confessional right now. I put, that was number, okay. I put Robert.
Okay, no, seriously, my question for you was going to be like, you, honestly, it was a thing for you and Dylan. You both, when you were voting me out, which I did not expect, you both just said to me, Shay, you'll win. And I just kind of thought to myself, like, would losing to me really be that bad? So I wasn't sure if you guys guessed that I was the answer for most people or if you were part of the answer. So I appreciate you answering that.
Wait, for who's going to win the game or
who you'd want to see win, like if not yourself.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
So you guys guessed that as the like correct answer that most people said, but I wasn't sure if you personally said it. So that's all I wanted to know. Tyler, you and I constantly talked about, we're going to vote out Dylan and Julia someday. You did vote out Dylan. I'm pretty sure I was inadvertently lying. I really thought I would vote out Dylan. Never took any opportunity that I had. I'm genuinely wondering, and I don't want you to say to me, oh yeah, I would have, if you really don't think you could have. I'm just genuinely curious. Like, do you think at the end of the day, could you have voted out Julia?
I have zero interest in lying to you at this point. I wanted Dylan at 7, and I 100% was going to vote Julia out at 6. She was the biggest threat at that point in the game. I know no one thought I was going to do it. I know it looked like I was just blowing smoke up everyone's ass. Julia was 100% going to get voted out at 6. If I had it my way, and I think I would have if Dylan would have won at 7. It was the correct game move. Yes, she is one of my favorite people in the world. You all saw she just grilled my ass for it and told me I wasn't doing anything. But no, I was 110% going to vote her at 6 because it was the only thing that made sense.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. I just wanted to ask because I felt like a little bit of a liar at the end of the game when things shook out. So I appreciate you all. I love you all. I don't know who I'm voting for tonight. I mean, I'd like to vote for myself like I did it when I went home, but I can't do that. I love you all. And seriously, guys, kill your final speeches, please. Give me the reason to vote for you. Bye. I love you.
Thank you so much, Shay. We love
Love you, Shay.
But moving on, we're going to go to our final juror of this evening, which is Dylan, featuring Grumpy Bear.
Wouldn't be a final travel without Grumpy Bear, let's be honest. I've had for 4 days said about what I was going to say because I left the game, I don't want to say feeling bitter, more petty, because I spent this entire game with all 3 of you telling me you were not afraid to sit next to someone who had won this game. When it was staring you in the face, none of you were willing to do it. And it did not sit well with me. I feel like all three, I think Molly might really wanted to sit next to me, but knew she couldn't. But I do feel like it blew your whole strategy of you had this loyal game to the end. And I don't think anyone, for the most part, really played a super loyal game. Tyler, you lied to me this entire game. The amount of conversations we had were just all like, it was me and you to the end. We're sitting together for the story. And then Kyle, I'm pretty sure you would have voted me out first on Shapiro. I'm pretty certain. So I don't know. That's all I'm going to say on that. I do have some interesting questions. I hope you guys brought your pen and paper. All right, so what we are going to do, we're going to play a little jury touchy subjects. I will start it off easy, and I'm going to do it a little different. If I don't like one of your answers, or I need an explanation, or someone on the jury needs an explanation, I'm going to ask you for one. Whenever you say you're ready, I will call on each of you because they want to mark down who puts who. I won't do that for the first one because it's easy. Who's your favorite host?
Can you just repeat that, Dylan? Sorry.
The first question is, who is your favorite host?
Thank you.
Thumbs up when you're ready. Reveal. All right. Next question is, if I don't win immunity, final six, who do you vote that round? All right, reveal. All right, Tyler says Lauren. Kyle says Lauren. And
I heard final five or
final six. Sorry,
that would have been Lauren. But
okay. The next one will be, who do you vote at final five?
Who has immunity at final five?
Immunity doesn't come into play.
Okay.
All right, reveal. Tyler says Dylan. Kyle says Dylan. Molly says Shay. All right. Next question. This will be a 2-answer question. Who is the least deserving of a spot on the jury? And who is the least deserving spot on the final 3 out of the 3 of you?
This is so mean.
All right, go ahead and reveal. Tyler says Cam and Kyle. Kyle says Cameron and Tyler. Molly says Cameron and Tyler. All right. Next question is, whose vote do you think you have locked? All right, reveal. Tyler says Lauren. Kyle says Ed. Molly says Robert. I actually want all 3 of you to explain why you think that. Real quick.
I'll explain. Me and Ed, I think we had a really, like I did with a lot of people, but we had a really good social relationship with each other. And he said to me before, like, if he doesn't win, he would want me to win. So like, I'm just basing it on the facts at the time of what he said to me. But yeah, I think me and Ed understand each other by now to know that like what we're all about and that type of thing. And I think he understands what my game is all about. So I'd say Ed.
I mean, I just wrote a name because I thought that writing no one wasn't an option, but I feel like I've just been fumbling the bag all night, so I don't know if I have anyone locked, so, but maybe I am playing emotionally, maybe I can't prove that wrong, so I don't know. I put Robert because I felt like, I don't know, we were close and I don't know.
I also have no real clue. I put Lauren because I feel like Lauren and I connected better than me with almost anyone else that I didn't have some relationship with coming into this game. And I feel like Lauren understands that she did have too much power too early, and that's the reason that I had to vote her. So I think she gets the reasoning, because it made absolute game sense. So I hope that she's able to see that. I think she is, and that's why I hope that I have her vote.
Okay. And Molly, first off, I just want to say you are absolutely killing this final tribal. Don't think that you're not. Like you are. I promise you. The next one is, whose vote do you not have a chance at? Reveal. Tyler says Cam. Kyle says Brad. Molly says Ed. All right. Next one is going to be, which vote out benefited your game more than the other two?
Does it have to be someone that you actually voted out or just in general?
That you actually voted out. All right, reveal. Tyler says Dylan. Kyle says Robert. Molly says Chris. All right. Let me go to who wins no matter who they are sitting next to. And this is people on the jury. I mean, you can put yourself, but I wouldn't. All right, reveal. Tyler says Dylan. Kyle says Shay. Molly says Dylan. I want all three of you to explain why, because I don't think any of you are correct.
I will say Shay because I think, like, I know the jury is a different thing to what actually people are perceiving in the game. I think Shay did fucking incredible. I think she was in the know of it all the time. I think she was playing a very underrated game. She built solid, strong connections, and I don't know. I'm just basing it on, like, if I was on the jury and she was in the final three, I'd vote for her over anybody else. I think Shay did amazing.
I'll go next. I don't know. Holding up your name seems like I'm kissing your ass at this point, and there's no hiding to anyone on the jury. You're one of my best friends, but it's not that reason. It's you literally had every social connection that you could have had. Everyone did not want to vote you out of this game, and for that reason, I assume that everyone wanted to vote you to win this game. It was the reason I wanted to take the shot at 7, which I told you straight up afterwards that was the reason, because I didn't think I could get you after 7. And I'm not just kissing your ass to kiss your ass for a jury vote. I'm literally telling you would have won this game if you were here. And for that reason, that's why I took the shot at 7. It's why I had to do everything I could do to make sure it happened at 4, because I think because no one wanted to vote you out of this game, everyone would want to vote you to win this game.
Yeah, I was going to say a little bit of what Tyler said, but I think that you were playing a phenomenal game. You were playing, as you said, a little bit villainous, but I feel like that the jury would have respected that because you were playing the middle along with me. But yeah, I think that you would have had a very, very, very good shot in the end. And I was between you and Shay, but I think you had, like Tyler said, no one really wanted to vote you out. Like it was me included until I did, but yeah.
All right. The next question is, out of the 3 of you, who played the best strategic game? You can put yourself, you believe that. Real? I said Tyler, Kyle said Molly, Molly said Tyler. All right. Next question is going to be, out of the 3 of you, who played the best social game? Reveal. I said Tyler, Kyle said Kyle, Molly said Kyle. Kyle, Molly, can you tell me what a good social game is? What your definition of it is?
My personal definition of a social game is talking to people and getting to know them on a level where I feel I'm connected enough with them like I was somebody who was always willing to talk to people, and I feel like it's just knowing things about their life, knowing who they are as a person. Like it's not just a person behind a screen, it's an actual human being. So I feel like a good social game is represented like if a bond is formed and you get along with that person and you understand what they're all about, and just, it's not just saying, hey, it's actually getting to know people. So I think that, yeah, that would be my definition of a social game, is the fact like you really connect with someone in a way that you have similar interests, like you just know that person. That would be my definition.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Kyle said, but I think that a good social game is more than just like talking to everyone all the time. Like Kyle said, you need to actually make genuine connections, and I think I did that, but from my perspective, I think Kyle really did it as well. And maybe that's not the perspective of a lot of people on the jury, but that's what I saw. But I think a good social game is hugely important. It protects you. It makes people not want to write your name down. And yeah, just making those connections and those bonds that are more than game bonds, because we don't play these games. I mean, we play these games to win, but we also play these games to meet new people, make friends, have fun, and that, to me, being social and speaking with people about things, whether they're game related or not, that's huge.
Okay, and I've been asked to add 2 more questions. So real quick, what juror tonight had asked the hardest question to answer?
Just a question. Does it have to be the hardest question, or just like their part was the hardest?
Their part was the hardest. Reveal. What? Julia? Okay, yeah. Tyler says Julia. That says Derek. Molly says Chris. The next one is, what was my biggest mistake in this game that you believe?
You specifically?
You specifically. Good call.
Sorry, I wasn't sure how detailed it would be, but I'm ready.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Reveal. I'm taking accountability, distancing myself from connections, promising Lawrence. Okay. And the last one, you don't have to write it down. You all can answer this. This is the fun one that people wanted me to add. Fuck, marry, kill the jury.
Wait, like all of you?
Just 3 people out of the jury.
That's not how this game works. You said we don't have to write it, just come up with an answer?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I have mine if we just want to just go in order.
You can go, Tyler.
All right. So I'm gonna fuck Chris because I feel like Chris is probably the best time. I'm gonna marry Robert because, as we all know, he's hot as shit and good enough. And then I am going to kill. Shit, this is the tough one. I don't know. I don't hate any of you. I'm gonna kill Dylan just because I think it feels right.
All right, Kyle.
I'm gonna fuck Derek. I can't do this. Oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna marry Shay because I'd love to spend the rest of my life with her. And then I'd kill Lauren because I love her, but she drives me absolutely insane.
Oh my fucking god. I'm gonna marry Robert because I love him, and you know, besties, marry your best friend, it's fine. And I'm gonna fuck Shay because I feel like she'd be a real fun time. And I'm gonna kill you for asking this question.
All right. I appreciate you guys for answering. When you guys go into closing statements, Molly, you're answering great. Just keep owning your game. Tell the people what you did. Tyler, stop playing safe, like Julia said. And Kyle, articulate your fucking strategy. You were throwing votes for no reason. Articulate it, okay? That's all you have to do. All right? I will leave you guys. Congratulations. All 3 of you deserve to be here. So
thanks, Dylan.
All right, guys, with that, the jury questioning is over. Thank you, Dylan, one more time, as well as the jury for giving us your input. So we're going to closing statements. As a reminder, this will be roughly a 3-minute limit. You all know this. The order has been determined already, so now it's been reversed. So we'll start off with Kyle, go to Molly, go to Tyler. You can take a breather for a bit, take a 30-second break before you start, maybe. Just compose yourselves and we can get on going.
Whenever
Did you
you're
just
ready.
say? Did you just say we can take a break because I need to pee?
I said 30 seconds. Can you wait 2 minutes to just sleep? Okay, Kyle's back. Kyle, are you ready to go?
Okay, so I kind of got the gist of what people think of my game just by this final tribal council. I didn't expect it to be perceived as this way. More people are mad that like I screwed them over, but I totally get it. So I've a load of reasons for why I did what I did this entire game, and I think I strategically placed myself in the middle of this entire game where I didn't attach myself to any duo, I didn't attach myself to any trio. Like I was working with people, but I think still throughout this game, people underestimated how strong my social and strategic connections were with people, to the point where people told me everything about their game. And like I understand like people are taking it hard that like I had to make a move for myself, but I think that's another reason why I feel like I'm constantly underestimated in this game. None of this of what I was doing was easy for me. Like I don't want you guys to just think it was water off a duck's back for me to do that. It was just that I think I placed myself very well, that I didn't realize that, hey, like I got to play the most with what I can. And it was hard for me. I'm not going to lie. It was hard for me to separate, okay, like, these people, now I got to vote them out, they're the vote kind of thing. And that, I think that was the reason for the throwing off the votes. Not only because it was just random, but also because I felt strongly with where I was voting that certain round. And I feel like a lot of the times, even though I had placed myself well in the middle, my voice was not being heard by a lot of people. So even if I wasn't okay with how the direction was going, I still felt comfortably where I was voting, even if I was the only one. It wasn't just that I was being crazy or anything like that. There was actually sense to what I was doing, not just. It was also to play up to the sides that I was playing with, that hey, I was with them kind of thing. And I knew like people would be looking at other people for the Tyler vote on the Derek vote or the Robert vote on the Brad vote, and I wanted to blame on other people. But it was also because of the fact that I couldn't write those certain people's names down. I just could not. But I think I did very well with what I had this entire game. I think my strategy was very underrated. I think my social game was phenomenal with the people that I connected with. And I just think I gave everything or anything to this game. And I hope you guys can see that I really played the F word out of this game. So I'm really happy to have met you. I just want to say thank you to all of the hosts. This has been so fun, and I'm so stoked to be here. And I love you guys. I love this game, and I can't wait to be all of your friends after this.
All right. I'm gonna try to keep this one short as well. But I realized coming into this game I had a hard battle to fight, not only because of the cast, but maybe because of my reputation. I don't know. But I'm the only person to sit in Premier Final Tribal both of my seasons. That's not a fucking fluke. I'm sorry, but it's not. There's a reason I'm here. I deserve to be here. I played the hell out of this game, and I did what was hard for me, but I did it for myself because I put myself first. And I played strong strategically. I played strong socially. I'm not going to say I played strong physically because we all know challenges aren't my thing, but I made bonds with people that mattered. I made the right relationships. I used those relationships to my advantage. Every vote, I felt confident that I was safe. I really did. And I think that goes a long way. I knew where all the advantages were. I knew what everyone was doing. I just had so much information because it was coming at me from every direction. I was informed. I knew what I was doing, and I knew why I had to do it. And it's been a roller coaster, but I'm so proud of the way I played and the reasons I played. And I'm here for the second time. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. But I can't wait to speak to all of you after this. It's been so much fun, as much as it's been taxing on my heart. But yeah, I had an amazing time and no regrets, and I'm really proud.
Cool. All right, I'll close this out then. Sorry, just started a stopwatch. All right, so closing speeches are obviously a lot harder to plan than opening speeches. I think all of us knew what we were saying in our opening. This, we kind of had to adapt based on what we were told. For me specifically, Premiere Season 3, up until this season, I've stood by it was the best game that I played. I went out in a really shitty spot, but based on the double idle play, but like I truly thought that was my game that I could win. We've all played a lot of these games, but that was the one that I thought I can finally do this. And so when I was asked to come back and play this All-Stars game and prove that, like, yes, I wanted, just being asked affirmed that, like, yes, I was as good as I thought I was. Not being cocky, but like I really thought that I played a great game, and being asked to come back despite getting 10th place was amazing. But when I came back, Premiere obviously held a lot in my heart just because I thought it was the best game I played. I came into this game and I think, yes, I cut some people. Yes, I lied to you, but I will reiterate, I think I played one of the cleanest games you can play. I think I was honest with people unless I couldn't be honest with them at that exact time. But even then, I didn't like fake around it. I owned what I did. I owned it while I played the game, and I think I owned it tonight. I don't know how tonight the storyline became that I was playing it safe. I tried my best to give the legitimate, real answer to every question that I was asked. I don't know, every single vote that I made this season was calculated. It was thought out. I had a plan. Sometimes those plans didn't exactly go the way you wanted them to, which again is the point that I mentioned in multiple tribals this season. There is no exact blueprint on how to win Survivor, but I was able to shift my plan when something went wrong. For example, Dylan not going at 7, Chris going at 11, things that I didn't plan for. I was able to shift. I was able to be adaptable. I was able to reevaluate and come up with a new plan. It involved new people, but I was always there. I was always trying. I was always busting my ass, caring so much about this game, despite the fact of me being at work 3 nights a week during tribals. I would walk outside for 2 hours at a time to do calls and do the challenge and then do calls and then do tribal. And I was just devoting every single thing that I had to this game. I don't know how I played it safe. If you want me to make a stab, during jury touchy subjects, neither of these two believed that their game was so great. Neither of them picked themselves for the best social or the best strategic game. But I did, because I fully believe in my own game. And I believe, okay, sorry, maybe Kyle put himself for 1, but sorry. But regardless, I believed in my game wholeheartedly. And then, even if we want to take the third tenet of Survivor, take the physical game into aspect, I won individual immunity twice as well. I busted my ass this entire game in every aspect of it. I will close with this. There was 21 people announced for this game. I was the 21st person announced. I think it makes poetic justice to make my name the last one read this season as the winner of Premier All-Stars. Thank you.
Okay, and with that, thank you, finalists. So you have reached as far as you can reach at this point. The power is out of your hands, out after 39 arduous days, you are finally free, and all the power goes to the jury now, to the jurors. Currently, it is 9:36 p.m. We're giving you 30 minutes on the dot to take all you've seen, take it in, see, you can go ahead and check the lives and whatever you need to do and check the messages and go ahead and vote. Like I said, you have 30 minutes and we'll come back and finally end the season with the results. Till then, see you guys. Anything else?
Go Birds.